Today is all about Christmas tree decor. Welcome to the Chic Show. Today's playlist is hosted by Rustic and Lace DIY and Krista's Crafty Life. Starting this one with some of Dollar Tree's tumbling tower blocks, and these happen to cut really easily. Sometimes I get a box that are really hard to cut, but these cut really easily. So I'm cutting these at an angle, and I'm going to be making a tree. Once I have cut 4 sets of these blocks, I'm going to cut one for the trunk. I want these blocks to fit onto this tag that I got from Dollar Tree, but I'm going to glue them together in pairs, and then I will glue each of those parts together as well. I apologize, I'm a little out of frame here, but I'm just adding that wood glue along the edges and then fitting it right up into the other pair. I'm going to leave these together to dry and we'll move on to the next part. Instead of trying to remove this paper, I just decided to paint over it, so I'm just using Waverly chalk paint in ink. I set that aside to dry, and I mixed a little bit of water with Waverly chalk paint in Fern because I wanted to kind of create a color wash for this tree. Now there is more paint than water because I do want it to be nice and green, but I did spray it with a little bit of water and then wiped it back as well. This way, this allows some of that wood to show through. And then I'm going to be using some antique wax on the trunk of the tree. I also added some of the antique wax to the rest of the tree and then wiped it back. This toned down that green color just a little bit. Before I glue down the tree, I want to add on a chalk couture transfer, and this one is just Fa La La. I'm going to add this to the top with some white chalk paint. I removed the transfer and it makes for the perfect little addition to this piece. I put the tree on with some wood glue and let it dry, and now I'm going to add a little star to the top. This project, I'm using 3 wood shims, and I'm cutting those down. I don't mind that they are kind of at an angle or uneven. That just kind of adds to the character of what I'm doing. I made a triangle for the top, and then I basically made 2 more triangles with the top cut off for the next sections. So I don't know what angle this is that I cut, but you can kind of see what I did. The top one is about 1 inch, the next one 2 inches, 3 inches, and 4 inches. Then I had this little piece in my stash that I removed for something else, and I'm just using some wood glue to glue it to the back. Once the glue had dried, I decided to paint the base of this piece with black chalk paint. I stained the tree with antique wax by Waverly mixed with a little bit of water. I did use a little bit of that black chalk paint on the tree as well. Next, I dressed it up just a little bit with some of the snowflake stamps that I got from Tuesday morning when they were open. So I'm just going to stamp these in various places on the tree as well as the "'Tis the Season" at the bottom. These are two triangles that I had my husband cut out of some spare wood that we had, and I'm just giving both of them a coat of white chalk paint. This is actually DIY paint White Swan. Once they were dry, I used some modeling paste, and I'm using a popsicle stick just to add this modeling paste as you see me doing here. We're going to fill up both of these trees and then set them aside to dry overnight. I'll let these dry overnight, and then I'm going to come back with some antique gold and highlight those raised spots. As I got to going further and further, I decided this wasn't giving it enough color, so I did go back and kind of put a fingerprint of gold in each one of those spots. For the smaller tree, I did the same thing, but I used silver rub and buff, and then I went back with a little bit of gold just to tie in the gold and the two pieces together. For more inspiration, be sure and check out the playlists in the description box below, along with Brenda and Krista's channels. Here's another video I think you might like. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.